G'day, my name's Lachlan Morton. I just finished riding the Tour Divide route last night, and this is my bike setup. It's a Cannondale Scalpel hardtail. I ride a size medium. It's got a 100mm lefty on it, so pretty standard. I went with a hardtail because I could fit this frame bag in here, which is pretty crucial to be able to store more stuff. My idea behind the bag setup on this was to have a lot of space because I wanted to be able to make sure I could have everything I wanted and needed, but also extra room for more food and water and things that I picked up on the way. So that's why I went with the AeroPack on the back, and used the big boy side panniers, because just like gives you a lot of space. I like the simplicity of it. I can get to everything I need really quick, and that's kind of my thought process. So I guess I'll start here at the back. This was kind of always a mixture of clothing and food and stuff. So I had my Rafa Explorer down jacket. That was absolutely crucial. I wore this for a lot of hours every day. Also slept in it when I was sleeping out. Great bit of kit. Folds down really small, so that was very crucial. I also stuffed my hydration pack in there. I liked the ability to have more water when I needed it, but I don't like the feeling of having a bag on all the time. So there was enough space that when I needed it, I could bring it out in the longer stretches and fill it up. I had a 1.5 litre bladder plus, it's not here, but a 500ml flask. So that gave me 2 litres just with this, which was really nice to be able to have. What else we got in here? This was my kind of extreme weather jacket. It's a Rafa one. It has like some down in the middle, but it's rainproof, and a hood. This was worth its weight in gold. I thought it was overkill when I was packing it, but actually ended up spending a lot of time in this, so I was very glad to have it. I thought I was going a bit overboard with clothing, but used everything and could have used more for sure. I also had a set of rain pants which are not packed in here, but they were also very helpful. Extra pair of Nicks so I could alternate. When I got a chance to wash the Nicks, when I was sleeping inside, I'd wash one pair, switch them out, so I always had like a dry, fresh pair, which I think was a good call in the end, because one pair of Nicks can get a bit rough if you're constantly in wet bibs, or there was some pretty extreme weather out there. A first aid kit packed in the bottom. Thankfully didn't have to use it, but all kind of bandages, clotting sponges, just regular first aid gear, just as a precautionary measure more than anything. But as I said, didn't need it. So then this is the main bag, which was basically just my sleeping gear. I like to have the sleeping gear separate than everything else because it's easy when you stop and you're trying to get out everything quickly. They also have this side pats here that were actually super useful. I could stuff extra food. I kept my chain lube in there, water filter, just little things that you want to be able to get to easily without having to open everything up. So I really enjoyed that feature. In here is my sleeping bag. It's a big one. It's good down to minus 15, I think, Celsius. So definitely a much bigger, heavier sleeping bag. Takes up a lot of space, but it was cold the nights I slept out, and was really glad to just be comfortable in this. And it was also warm enough that I didn't need a pad. And the last night I slept out, didn't even need the bivvy. Could just jump in this under a tree and was good to go. So then comes to my bivvy, just the REI super light bivvy. Has a pole, four pegs. It's kind of like a mini tent. It's nice if you want to keep a bit of space between you. I don't really like the feeling of being in a flat bivvy. It gets a bit sticky and wet in there, so great piece of kit. Only needed to use it a couple of times, but it's good to know you have it, so you can sleep anywhere, even if the weather's bad. The other side, I guess more of the same miscellaneous stuff. Oh, I got given this cowbell when I was going through just before Silver City. It's a cowbell from the 2016 Tour of the Healer, which I won. And yeah, there was a guy there who had seen that race and gave this to me. Pretty heavy. Didn't really serve much function, but would have been good in bear territory if I'd had it. But I didn't want to leave it, so carried that along with me. Ended up with these gas station sunnies, which I paid like 15 bucks for, which you get what you pay for. They're not great. But I lost my POC sunnies when I was messing about, like borderline hypothermic one day, and didn't realize for a couple of days till the sun came out and was like, oh no, my sunnies. So picked these up. Probably won't wear them again, but they just did the job. Here's my rain shell. It's a new Explore jacket from Rafa. Again, super helpful because it was very wet. The hood is crucial. I can't speak enough about the hoods. I could layer up between the down jacket, the extreme one, and then this. It's a lot of protection over the head, keeps the water out, and it also dries very quickly, which was crucial on a few points. Not sure what I got in the pocket of this one. Something in here. Oh yeah, my gloves. Just some cat gas station gloves. I had to load up a bit extra on the gloves because it was particularly cold out there. So again, you get what you pay for. They're not great, but it was better than the alternative most of the time. What else is down in here? What do we got? Okay, this is my trusty old woolen Rafa undershirt. I've used this on every ultra I've ever done. Love it. It's really good, just like keeps you warm, but also you can wear it when it's hot. Dries off quick, doesn't get too stinky. It's a great undershirt. I brought this, was debating it, but I'm glad I brought it. This was another Rafa undershirt with the neck gaiter, very warm. Ended up spending a lot more time in this than I thought I was going to. So I was super glad to have it. That's like the key base layer. When it was really cold, I'd use the other undershirt under this and then the 3 layers, which seems extreme, but it was particularly cold a few times. So again, worth its weight in gold. I used merino arm and leg warmers. I like the feeling of those. They're like soft, again, dry quick, very warm and comfortable. This was a dry bag just with the stuff I could wear off the bike. So I just had a pair of shorts, little eye mask, which is actually very helpful, I find, to fall asleep quickly. And I'd also keep my undershirts in here when I wasn't wearing them, just so you had something dry to get into, which was crucial. All right, that's all that's in there. So that was everything that was in the back. On top of that, I would obviously put extra food and sometimes extra, just like I'd buy a litre of liquids, stick it in there. There was plenty of extra room, so it was always topped off. I think the most water I ever carried was about 5.5 litres, and yeah, there's a few times I definitely needed all of that. This was my little top tube bag, mainly food storage and rubbish. So I'd put my wrappers in there when I was done with them. and also kept my multi-tool and my knife and scissors in there, just probably the tools I use the most, so keep them accessible in there. So then this frame bag is a custom frame bag for this bike. As you can see, it fits super nice. The top bag was all my electronics. I like to keep everything somewhat separately. I think organized is probably too nice of a term, but anyway, I basically had I had 2 power banks. This was the first one, the Anchor. It's 26,000 milliamps. I think that's the amount of power it had. I actually never needed the second one. I was able to charge this quite a bit and could run, all the batteries from my lights, Wahoo, phone, everything off this puppy. So it was a really good bit of kit to have. My Phoenix headlamp. Again, headlamps are great. Not so much. I had enough lights up front. I didn't need it that much during the night, but it's good when you're like trying to organize things off the bike. You get off looking through bags or whatever, setting up a tent. Good to have the headlamp. What else have we got in here? Just cables. It's absolutely shit show of cables in here. SRAM battery charger. You go through a surprising amount of batteries on a loaded bike because you do a lot of shifting, because you go from big to small quite a bit just because of the weight. So I was generally charging constantly a battery and would usually go through 2 every day. And I had three batteries. So the only benefit of my derailleur when it stopped working was I didn't have to charge batteries anymore. So that was a bonus. In here, this was had my backup power bank. Again, as I said, didn't use it. 20,000 milliamp. Stayed charged the whole time. I had 2 spare batteries that I could charge off the bike. I mean, not off the bike, not on my lights. These are all light batteries. So I had 2 I could charge if I needed to while the other ones were still running. Again, I only used 1 of these, but it was just nice to know you're never going to run out of light. The rest of this is more cables and my other derailleur batteries. What else have I got down in here? It's almost it. Oh, and obviously, pretty crucial, the wall charger, double banger for when I would stop at a hotel. I could plug this in. Generally, would just charge my phone and the power bank, and then do everything else on bike. Spare Wahoo with the route and everything loaded up, just because you never know. I only had to use that once when I forgot to charge my Wahoo because I was busy trying to get my derailleur functional. There's the other battery for the derailleur. Down in here, this was kind of like hygiene and stuff, I guess you would call it. I did take this little small foldable backpack, which was super helpful. Going into gas stations and that, I could have a bag, fit everything I needed in here. Or if I finished a day and was going to stay somewhere, I could load up dinner and stuff, put it in here, throw it on, and not have to worry about sticking it all back in the bike. So again, very, very helpful. I got chamois cream in here, which the container was a little big, so getting it in and out was annoying. But chamois cream, obviously, on something that long, super, super helpful. And then sunscreen, toothpaste. I don't know where the toothbrush is gone. I think I used it last night, but that was all in that section. So yeah, that's all that. In here, this is my tool roll. So basically any spares, tools or anything I need is all down in here. Lots of space, pretty basic stuff. I had two spare tubes, didn't need any of them. A spare strap just in case I needed to strap anything else or restrap, but didn't need to use that. In here, this little guy, is spare shifter battery, spare headphones, and brake pads. So yeah, that was what's in that little guy. This is a spare hanger. What else have I got in here? Let's just open it up and have a look. Spare hanger. Oh, I had 3 quick links in here. A spoke tool that just fell down there. And yeah, I also had like 5 links of chain in there in case I had to lengthen a chain after breaking it. What else have we got in here? Extra speed CO2, chain tool, tyre levers, all self-explanatory. I had 2 CO2s. I have a pump on the other side, but sometimes it's nice to have CO2s in case you got to do a change when you're trying to be quick. It might be cold or you're very close to where you want to be or whatever. It's just nice to have these if you're in a rush. But again, didn't need any of this. One more bag of goodies. Oh yeah, this was all tyre related spares. So extra plugs, boots. I had a section of sidewall that I cut out, as you can see here, with super glue, basically just in case there was any catastrophic failure with the tyre, I could fix it all. But yeah, that all pretty self-explanatory and didn't need it. I had the plugs, the muck off have like a bar end plug, so I could just stick that in there. The plug sits in there, ready to go, had those loaded up. So yeah, that's what was in that bag. I ran this little bag here up front for food, basically, extra food. Not sure if I had much left in here. Yep. Some gummy peach rings, but basically I could load up like 16 or 17 candy bars in here, which was basically my go-to. A little bell on the bars, keep the bears away, or at least makes you feel good when you want to try and make noise at night riding around in grizzly bear country. Didn't see too many other bike riders, so it wasn't that necessary for that, but good to have. These Phoenix headlights, they're like 1600 lumens. I had 2 of these. Again, I don't like riding at night when I can't see very well. I learnt my lesson with that, so ran 2 of these up front. Wahoo mounted up here, and spot tracker on the aerobars, just to keep it in view of the sky and blinking. Yeah, the handlebar setup, I run these at like, I think these are at 68 centimeters, and these little bar ends were very helpful because I could get lots of different hand positions, and then the aerobars are nice, just take a load off. I did use the blips up here so I could change gears up there when the gears were still working. Vittoria Mezcal 2.35 tyres. A lot of people had told me I didn't need that much tyre, but I was very glad to have that much tyre. I think, you know, the more tyre you have, the more aggressive you can be, so was happy with that. I did have to change the rear halfway along. I think I could have made it on one set, but didn't want to risk it, so I had to switch the rear out when I got to Salida, but that was all pretty painless. Scratch, extra padded MS Pro Logo seat. Yeah, extra padding is definitely a must on something so long like this. Did have a Crank Brothers dropper post on here. Not really for getting out of the way for technical reasons, more so just so I could adjust my saddle height a bit as I was going. Sometimes it's nice to just be able to move your position a bit. I had a stash of zip ties up here inside the aerobars because zip ties are handy. A roll of tape here on the seat post just to be able to pull off, use tape when you need, have it accessible. On the sleeve here on the other side, which I forgot about, I had spokes, which I didn't need for my wheel, but ended up using them on the derailleur once it stopped. I worked out if you jammed a spoke in, you could kind of adjust the tension of the derailleur. So when I moved it, I could basically shift. I had 3 speeds, but obviously stopped to do that manually. But was more efficient than running just 1 gear. Passport for the border control. And then, yeah, I also picked up stickers where I could, and most of them ended up in that in that little sleeve there. But yeah, that was cool, kind of the admin sleeve, I guess. Just a little thin one. Beyond that, yeah, I don't know what else is interesting. A 38 chainring, which was, I think, the perfect gear. And, you know, 1052 on the back. I was very happy with my setup all in all. You know, I could get everything very easily, could carry enough stuff, and everything with the exception of the derailleur held up very, very well. So yeah, that was my bike, and yeah.